San Francisco papers are investing a lot of money to try and get a service just like that started. Science editor Steve Newman reports on one person already using the brand new system.
All right, let's get this goddamn thing going. There we go. What is up, everybody? Welcome to today's stream. It's taken a while to get a stream going today. I've been testing out this new YouTube studio, and man, it is just super weird. So, yeah. Who like literally is obsessed with this episode right now? I've watched it 3 times. Who's watched it more than 3 times? This is what I'm curious about. I feel like everybody's like me and they probably just kept on watching it. Hey, what's up, Pig Wars? Elijah Neal, Dustin. Who else is in here? Sir Manspeak, Jack Attack, Alistair's dad. I think that's a new one. I haven't seen you in here before. But yeah, welcome. So basically, I just kept this little background stream graphic simple because I figured it'd be cool just to kind of for us to all just kind of talk about it casually as we're looking at the images going by. Because to be frank, as I was talking about this, even with my wife and people online, I cannot tell what is like the volume and what is location anymore. Like, this is such a grand scale Star Wars production that it's insane. Like, so yeah, you guys are obsessed with it, huh? Hey, what's up, Zach? Milton, yo to you. I was so wrong too. I don't know how many people watched my review video when I said that's Rex at the end, because I don't know why, but I was thinking to myself like, hey, oh wow, you watched it 6 times, Cyber Controller. That's amazing. I'm gonna watch it one more time tonight. Because I want to make a little video about a little specific thing. Ooh, this song's kind of loud. But yeah, what a ridiculous episode. I saw some people saying it was filler, or like they started off the season with filler, and I was like, man, that's a bummer if you feel that way. Because the way I looked at it is like, yeah, it's like a bit familiar, but I feel like it's just like, an immediate continuation after the Moff Gideon interaction. Like, I think if it started off way too into that specific narrative, I don't know, would just be too dramatic for the entire season. Like, I thought this was perfect. Let's expand Tatooine and see some crazy things we've never seen before. Like, I've never seen Crate Dragons. Yo, Star Force 1, the legend is in the chat. How's it going, man? Dude, you called so many things. Like, the Pelgo thing, I think you were the one that said Cobb Vanth first. Like, you're like a Star Wars prophet, Star Force 1. Yeah, Elijah Neal, that's the actual video topic I want to do. Like, everything you need to know about Cobb Vanth, because I know nothing. So part of why I love making Star Wars content is also part education, part making a video so other people can like get that aggregate information real quick. But yeah, it's like a cool way to motivate for videos. But yeah, Cobb Vanth was really, really well done based off of what I know about Cobb Vanth. And also, I just like Timothy Oliphant. Like, he was super good. I did think he looked hilarious. Oh, yeah, dude, you were shocked how many right predictions he got? Yeah, I mean, it was uncanny how much he got right. But yeah, so Timothy Oliphant was really good, right? Who thought it was kind of funny to see him donning the armor? Like, it looked like a bad Halloween costume, kind of. I mean, I think that's the point. To me, I was like, oh man, like, this is gonna sound really strange, but I was like, man, he's got no butt. Oh, how's my, Henry's asking, how's my Halloween at? Well, it's very chill. We're not doing much because, you know, COVID's going on. Right now, Beverly is unfortunately a hot spot right now. And, so basically, we're just keeping it chill. We're hanging with the kids, doing a little watch-along stream together thing tonight with some family. Going to my mother-in-law's for like a few hours to eat some food. That's about it. So keeping it safe. Oh, nice. Yeah. I'm so happy that people laughed at that too. Like, once he walked in, I was like, oh, I gotta show that. I was like, man, like, Cobb Vanth, he's a tight dude. But the Mando's filled out. It was just such a funny, drastic, stark difference. I also thought he was really funny. Anybody else laugh a lot during this episode? Yeah, he had a perfect. He's perfect for westerns. Hey, Star Wars Galactic, ask that again in a few minutes. I just want to see who thought this episode was super funny. Like, even though it was like really kick-ass with like the last third of this episode with the Crate Dragon, which I'm still trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out like, no, I don't know. We'll get to it. Anyways, Rural asks, thoughts on the story different? So I actually don't know anything about the Aftermath trilogy, which is why I'm doing the Cobb Vanth video. Because I want to learn. So I actually don't really know. I don't know too much. Basically what I know is that there's a hair of difference between, I think, the story of how he acquired the armor and what he actually told to the Mando. It's like, seems to be something. I think Star Force 1 made a video about this, but I haven't watched it yet. But to be determined, right? I'm not sure. Yeah, so this episode was hilarious. Like, especially when Cobb Vanth was like, think of the schools. Hey, you got it, Star Wars Galactic. I try to talk to everybody in here. Hey, Star Force 1. So, you might be, or everybody can answer this question. I love Jedi Fallen Order, and I've seen some gameplay of KOTOR. And I have KOTOR on Steam, but I've never played it. Should I just dive right into this? Okay, cool, yeah. I'll check out that video. But I feel like I should, because now that there's Crate Dragons and all this crazy stuff, I'm like, man, I must be missing out. My rating of this episode. Star Wars Galactic asks, what is my rating for the newest episode? I don't like to give anything 10s, because nothing is ever perfect, right? But I would say this is a 9er. A total 9er, because it's episode 9. Okay, rad. I'll check it out. Yeah, so I just downloaded OBS. Apparently it captures my my gameplay perfectly now, which that's why I never did games on my streams. Sorry, we're sidetracking from Mando chat, but you can look at the pretty imagery of the Tatooine suns and Mr. Boba. But yeah, I streamed like a bit of The Force Unleashed, and then like my computer just couldn't handle it, so I stopped doing it. But I would love to stream, because sometimes I just don't want to make a video. I just want to hang out and talk and just play a game. and I haven't been able to play Squadrons that much, and I wish I had that set up for streaming. I'm so bad at it, but man, that game is amazing. The only thing that annoys me about that game is like waiting to go on another mission, but probably it's because I'm not that good. So, yeah. So earlier somebody asked, trying to think about this, was it Star Wars Galactic? Re-ask me the question from earlier, because now I forgot it. Yeah, I'm gonna say your name. I might say your name wrong. Cayenne Kong? I hope I said that right. Yeah, I thought this was a really unbelievable start. So like, as I'm looking at the imagery I created for the stream here, like seeing Tatooine, seeing the way Cobb Vanth like becomes this Marshal and how he deals with things, seeing the interaction between the town and like having to deal with, you know, working with Tusken Raiders, like the humanization of Tusken Raiders, and this Dune-ish end with this giant sandworm. Like the scale of this was so off the hook that like I just can't believe any disappointment with this episode when I see it. But yeah, it's such a, like, even the beginning with the Cyclops. Yeah, Zachary Schatzer. I'm not gonna do first names. I'd say everybody's names wrong. Zachary. Yeah. So somebody said that in my comments. I think they call Phrynox. They had like yellow eyes from what I remember. Oh, okay. Thanks. So Kaon. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to pronounce names. I wish like there was like a phonetic option in chat, like phonetically spell this out. So I appreciate that. Bobby King, no idea where you can watch it for free. Yeah, I'm with you, Star Force One. It has to be Lethal, because if it's those creatures, I feel like that's the only place we've seen those, right? Like, I'm about to start doing my not Mandalorian. I'm watching the Mandalorian. I'm about to start doing my Rebels rewatch, just because, you know, it's been a couple of years now since I've just really watched any of that stuff. So, and I'd like to start doing reviews on it too, so it'd just be cool to kind of see any connective tissue that I might have missed. Oh, Henry Lewis. Yeah, to answer your question, like, do we think we'll get more characters like Cobb Vanth, like an Afra in live action? Oh, Kayan. Okay, Kayan. All right, I'm gonna say that to myself in my head 1,000 times until I get it right. Yeah, I feel like Disney's whole vibe right now is figuring out how to keep people engaged with the franchise and the whole Star Wars at large, which is working very well, I think. And I think live action is the way to go, and that's an easy way to introduce sort of lesser known fan favorites to like a wider audience. So yeah, I'd say yeah, I don't see why not. They wouldn't do some Afra. I mean, I feel like Afra is actually a really well-known, like in diehard fandom at this point. So who knows? Maybe she'll appear in a Mandalorian episode for some reason. I have no idea. Yeah, Lethal was pretty cool, Elijah. Yeah, Star Force One, and I'll get to somebody else's question too, that I just saw. It's funny, like I have a lot of channels, like not even Star Wars channels. I'm subscribed to a lot of different various kinds of channels, even like just the stereotypical dive into video essays of all kinds of topics. And one of my favorite channels is Cosmonaut Variety Hour. Not sure who's familiar with that person's work. It's a few people that do like some like group videos, and like one guy, I think his name's Marcus. He just made one video about Clone Wars, which was amazing, and then one how he hates the like rebels, and I was like, sad. So yeah, agreed. The length of the last episode, the Marshal, was awesome. I want every episode to be an hour. So how do I think Boba Fett's gonna play into this? Well, first, let me apologize to the Star Wars gods. I was like, this has to be Rex. And the reason I was thinking that is because the whole time with the quest, I'm thinking of like Force users on like lurking, feeling the like you know, this feeling. Yeah, you saw that video, hilarious. Yeah, I was so sad when I watched that video, Star Force one. But I feel like I just thought like Ahsoka could sense the Force, so they sent a little scout, aka Rex. But then everybody was like, oh yeah, he would have a beard, he'd be super old, and I was like, that's true. And then once I finally watched this episode because I was watching it on Chrome, which is fuzzy. Once I watched it on Safari, that actually has like real Blu-ray HD streaming, I could clearly see like how messed up his face was, and I was like, yeah, that's Boba Fett. It's 100% Boba Fett. I bet Boba Fett's just mad in general, Interforce. Just a mad dude. I mean, think about it. He watched his dad get decapitated by Mace Windu. What else, you know? Like, he got thrown into a Sarlacc pit. He was digested for at least a little while. I mean, that's a hard thing to deal with, right? So, that's the question. So, what do I feel overall about his return? I do feel... Right now, I can't really weigh it one way or another. It was a great way to end that episode with something to make me be like, ooh, what's going to happen next? However, I don't give one shit about Boba Fett. Not that I think he's a bad character, but what I hope is that they'll do something extremely interesting with whatever he is currently going to be doing in this season. So yeah, no shade to Boba Fett. Great in Empire Strikes Back. Kind of hilarious in Return of the Jedi when he just like gets defeated by a blinded Han, sort of. He's just like, Boba Fett, where? And then he just turns around and just knocks him out, and like, that's it. Like, cool. So maybe he's still reeling from that. Who knows? It'd be funny. But as long as they use him in a way that is, you know, this is gonna sound stupid and obvious, but is important to the Mando's journey and his quest, awesome. So who thinks that they're gonna battle in like well, here's the thing. So let's say that they get into a fight, Boba Fett, and he wants his armor back, right? Just watching the chat right now, talking about his armor. And they get into this fight, right? And then Boba's like, well, you're not even a Mandalorian by blood. You're just a guy that you know, he pulls a Bane. You merely adopted the darkness. I was born of it. You know what I mean? Like, theoretically, one could argue in some sort of pedantic way, well, Din, you're not really a Mandalorian either. So that would be an interesting way to get their beef going if they start interacting. I do think everybody's right in regards to there being a huge fight over the armor and getting that back. Yeah, he's looking good for 40, right? A little melted. Oh, did he? Nice. Hey, what's up, Arya? Welcome to the stream. It's been a while. Hope you guys are enjoying this little looped video in the background. Oh yeah, there was Cobb Vanth with his no butt. Well, so I have a funny... Well, yeah, Star Force 1 actually just kind of touched on what I was going to say. I think they're going to explore what it means to be a Mandalorian, right? Like in Din's world, it's this religion, right? Whereas like before this show, I kind of looked at it as like this entire planet society, sort of whatever. It's like just a society of warriors. You have to be born of Mandalore to be even worthy. So now that's not the case. And either way, it's almost going to be like, I don't want to say chosen one or something, but there's all this talk about Jedi, Mandalore versus Jedi, and I just feel like Din's going to find himself on the path to the Mandalore, and like he will be the redefining idea of Mandalorians or something, or maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know, but I feel like they wouldn't have talked about. The Darksaber wouldn't be around. I feel like the Quest and the Jedi wouldn't be around if like something enormous wasn't going to happen to Din, like some sort of status elevation within the within the known Mandalorian Coburns. So. Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that he didn't get melted. That Mando steel. Beskar's. I'm really curious as to like the actual worth and credits for Beskar. Because that intro, that's what I never finished earlier from the chat. I thought the intro before the title card was also really good. Like, that dude Gor Koresh, he was like if Canto Bight nailed what Canto Bight wanted to be, which is like rich assholes, like the underbelly assholes, but like they still fund the stuff. For some reason, like I got a Canto Bight vibe, but just like good, specifically with that character. It's just funny. But man, that intro with those red eyes, and he just leaves them there to hang while those whatever the hell they are, they come in and just eat them. So yeah, Jennifer, I feel like Luke Skywalker in general, like, again, I haven't read the Aftermath trilogy, so I don't know how deeply it followed Luke at all. But I just felt like he was never interested in being a part or being known of, like, you know, with the New Republic. He seemed to be kind of like his own thing. And then beyond that, like, since there were only, let's say there were 10,000 total Jedi in an entire galaxy of billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of people, 99.9% of all those people would have never seen a Jedi. So, calling it a myth or whatever wouldn't be too far of a stretch to suggest to most of the population of the Star Wars galaxy. Yeah, exactly. You will die by not by my hand. So, like, I think most of the people just never have seen a Jedi. Then the people that have are mostly in this like political centric area of the galaxy. So once they use the propaganda they use to spread throughout the galaxy that they're just evil sorcerers and blah blah blah, and they tried to turn on the entire republic and destroy democracy, like quickly erasing all their history and information. I mean, 10 years can go by and you'll be surprised at how much a population of people will forget something. And, you know, a brand new generation of people growing up without a Jedi Order is within reason of them being like, what are these things? Oh, those things that like we never really saw most of the time. Oh, Jedi. It seems like a story. So it's reasonable to me that nobody really knows what's going on. Henry Lewis, thanks so much then for hanging out. Have a good Halloween, man. Bad motivator. Yeah, that was super cheeky. I appreciate R5 being there, but also it wouldn't matter to me if it was any other droid. Star Force 1. Good God. That is a crazy piece of propaganda. Man, there's so many things I don't know. There's like almost too much to know about Star Wars, which is a good thing because you can just forever make videos, which is awesome. Lord Vader is back. Well, welcome back, Lord Vader, my savior. Do I own Battlefront 2? I do. I haven't played it in a while. Like I tossed on the campaign maybe 2 weeks ago or a week ago just to have fun, but I really haven't like gone online or anything in such a long time. Are people still playing online? It was also a game that I never had time to really do anything with because the second I got it, I was like getting into dad mode. What's up, Octay? That's what I'm gonna call you, or OKTay, or whatever you want to be called. Yeah, that was an interesting holo of Tatooine. I've never seen anything like that. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing that was cool. I guess some people were saying that Mos Pelgo was like underwhelming, blah blah blah, but I was like, actually, I thought that was neat. And maybe it's because I'm a visual effects nerd. Yeah, Interforce, good observation. That was one of the things I noticed in the episode, that you can see where that original part blew and where they soldered it. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Endless Star Wars, what's up? Is it truly endless, though? So here's a question for the chat, and this isn't to knock sequel anythings. Hey, happy Halloween, Arya. Thanks for hanging out. This isn't really to knock anything regarding the sequels. You know me, really big fan of TFA, enormous fan of TLJ, and 50-50 on the Rise of Skywalker, but in terms of visuals, pretty awesome. So overall, whatever. So, but with this show, why do you think that most people are just embracing it no matter what the hell happens? I even find myself just like completely open to everything. Whereas, you know, with the last film, I was a little bit like, well, this is bizarre, but I just never feel that way watching The Mandalorian. And I don't want to be like, it's because of Dave Filoni and John. And they're the perfect herp derps. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people quickly start the blame game. But yeah, I'm wondering, like, is it truly because they really just, like, they just did, like, this, like, all right, we got this bucket of toys thing. Here are the things that look like Star Wars, and we'll just, like, tell a tale that doesn't affect anything except for itself. Like, maybe that's why it works. I don't know. But yeah, curious. It's not risky, Braxton? Yeah, maybe. I feel like it's been... Well, maybe it's not risky in the sense it doesn't... It doesn't affect the big picture. Interesting. And you know what's funny to me? I'm gonna call you KK, which you might not like. So yeah, I might have missed the first part of your tweet, Kayan or K. Yeah, I'm just gonna apologize for the rest of the stream for mispronouncing your name. But yeah, I was gonna say it's like a new take, right? And it's almost like they positioned Mandalorians into that mythical role that the Jedi occupied, right? Do people get that feeling too? That this will be... The Mandalorians now will be like almost the Jedi of this new generation of like 5-year-olds to 10-year-olds that are watching this. Like, now it's not just about these crazy Jedi. It's about these like dudes in armor that like are almost completely non-defeatable. You can't, like, to me, the Mandalorians are going to become that mysterious group. So maybe they already are. Hey, happy Halloween to you too, Fuzzy Goral. Is that or is it Fuzzy Gory? I can't tell. Yeah, Simon Cross. Well, you also said it too, that this technology is bananas. As a guy that loves visual effects, I'm trying to figure out how they made Mos Pelgo. Like, because they can't fit all that long stretch that he's going down. Oh, there we go, Gorilla. Fuzzy Gorilla. Hilarious name. Sorry, I just lost track of my mind. Yeah, like when he's just on a speeder bike and like it's just zipping by him, you can see people there. So I wonder if that's a render, an Unreal Engine, and he's just stationary. And then when the houses go by, like, it's just rotating around, or it's rotating around the huts kind of to like give the idea that you're like getting the parallax. But either way, I'm just like, man, this is so seamless that my mind almost needs to turn off knowing that it's in a room that's contained. It's just bananas to me. Like, we've reached the point where like you don't need to do so much work now to get this giant, like what we're watching right now, the fight scene with the Gamorreans. Maybe that was a big set. I doubt it. I feel like that was just all in that one room. Yeah, the Crate Dragon was bananas. It was like Tremors, right? Who here has seen the movie Tremors? The first one is amazing. The rest of them, garbage. Yeah, the aspect ratio change was so cool. That made me, for some reason, I just immediately thought of Christopher Nolan. I was like, man, like, these guys took a page out of his book and was like, let's go to the top of the screen because this freaking worm is like so big. So. Oh, that's so funny, Star Force One. You know what's funny? Like, sorry to the people that don't like this. It's legal in my state, so I tend to smoke before I watch The Mandalorian to get in the right Star Wars mind. A little bit of I don't know, little stuff. Sometimes a beer. But when I was watching it, I saw that happen. I was just like, whoa, what is happening? It was also like 4 a.m. So I was just so out of it. But man, yeah, once it went full bleed, I call it full bleed because that's what we call it where I work when I'm an editor. So yeah, you guys know that. I was like, hot damn, like they weren't freaking kidding when they talked about putting all of the budget into the post workflow now. Because like they don't need to spend money on the set anymore, really, besides some of the obvious new practical elements. But they did that for season 1. Now it's all going to go into, yeah, exactly. It's a bit of spice. Now it's just all going into the literal post-production workflow. Like just watching the ship fly by over Tatooine, those giant landscape shots of Tatooine, those were insane. Let me see what Liv said. What did I miss? What did I miss? The chat moves so fast. And then I ramble. Oh, Liv, yeah, that's a great point. Not fully good, not fully bad. And he's also still learning how not to be a bad dad. Because, he is the caregiver of Mr. Little Baby Yoda. I call him Mr. because he is 50, but he's also a baby. But yeah, it's like so funny. Like he just goes into that cantina on Mos Pelgo and just leaves the kid like on the back of his speeder. And he just like meanders around the corner and he's like, oh. And I'm like, man, keep your eye on that dude. Oh, Amy Sedaris, Simon Cross. So, yeah, I mean, I guess with those scenes and with her specifically, so I had a hard time with episode 5 of last season until I watched it recently and I was like, all right, it's not as bad as I originally thought. But she's like a style of actress that reminds me of like old school 80s acting. Like it's too surreal and over the top. Like, like watching Predator or something like that. But either way, it also feels very appropriate in Star Wars in a sort of prequel vibe aesthetic where it's like, it gets a little, I don't know. I don't even know what the adjective to call it. It just seems to be specifically corny because of that 80s thing that I think Favreau specifically wants to do. She also has a really good flow, though. Like, that the giant curly hair she's got, man. What a flow. Yeah, Jennifer, that's kind of what I'm saying. You said, like, she's supposed to be campy. I think that's exactly it. Fuzzy Gorilla, I think Mando's a great dad. I mean, he's definitely a badass dad. But it's crazy, right? Like, so when he goes into the Gamorrean fight arena, like, there's just so much carnage going on, and just being a dad myself and knowing how kids absorb everything that happens around them, like, some of the things some of the things like my son says back to me when I accidentally just like swear and I'm like, oh no. You know what I mean? Like, and plus like he's seen Star Wars on the TV sometimes and I'm like, oh man, maybe you shouldn't be watching this, like, so I'll turn it off. But the Mandalorian's just straight up stabbing people in front of the child that he's like raising. So I have the suspicion that there will be another violent outburst of sorts from the child. I feel like that's going to happen, not because the child's evil, but it's just what he sees. And he sees Mando being a badass, tough guy, just punching people out. So I think it might happen. Oh, yeah. So the music. Well, I'm happy they kept the same composer. I didn't know if they were going to be doing that going forward with I figured maybe they'll do a new composer each season or something, but I actually don't think anybody but Ludwig can do it. And he made it very unique in this episode. I don't know if you guys remember specifically like the child chanting stuff going on in the beginning of the episode. There are a lot of really interesting new audio elements in this score. He's still kind of keeping it to like some hip hop elements, and he has like the sample flute sound that like is now iconic. But the beginning, for the most part, it seemed the most interesting because there's like this child chant going on, and it was mildly creepy. Dude, Gamorrean pit fights. How bananas is that? Did you guys ever think, like just being a Star Wars fan, that you would ever need a Gamorrean fight? It's amazing. Kyber Webbs, what's up? Yeah. It's so funny that I thought that was Rex immediately, but then again, it was 4 a.m. That's my excuse. I also misspelt I misspelled the name of the episode, and Star Force 1 was the man. It was like, hey, just letting you know, it's 1L. And I was like, you are so right. Oh God, what have I done? So I pulled an Anakin and I just slaughtered a bunch. No, I'm sorry, I didn't do that. But yeah, appreciate that, Star Force 1. Us tired folks at 4 a.m., we shouldn't be making content then. People should be sleeping. Thomas Johnson, interesting. Yeah, if you think about that. However, the Tuskens did enslave Anakin's mother. But yeah, not all of them were guilty. But yeah, I love how this episode is pushing the humanization of Tuskens in a way. Some people thought it was goofy. Like, especially when Din was conversing with them, with like the grunts. Dude, it's past 5 a.m. Did you stay up all night to make something? You are a legend. That is dedication. Everybody applaud Star Force 1. You've like grown so fast. It's so awesome to see. It's funny. Like it's just crazy. So many good content creators out there, and like it's just cool to see everybody doing well. Thank God there's like stuff. Thank God there's new Star Wars to talk about too. You know. Sometimes I think about this. I'm like, what would I talk about if there wasn't like the Mandalorian? Like, would I become a lore channel? But anyways, Star Force 1. Have a good morning or night, since you're gonna be taking this opportunity to go to bed, and keep kicking ass, dude. I know you told me you only use that that mic you were talking to me about, but man, you got the voice of power. Very powerful voice. That's important, I think. Keeps me engaged. I don't know what's happening with the Obi-Wan show. I honestly, like, I've been so busy lately, which is why I haven't been doing more than like maybe 1 or 2 videos a week on the channel. But yeah, like I've been trying to like keep myself out of the news so much, because I feel like the whole news sector of this TV show, that TV show, this movie, that movie, I feel like it's gone off the rails a little bit. And I just want to focus on what exists right now and what has been factually reported by the people making it. I'm glad that there are channels that do have an ability to report on this kind of stuff. I have to steer clear of it because sometimes it gives my hopes up. So yeah. Commander Cody, what a nice sentiment. Fuzzy Gorilla asks, do you think that Ahsoka and Sabine will find Ezra in this season? I personally feel if we go deeply that route, I worry will we lose focus. Lose focus on the main problem at hand. But again, it all comes down to how it's utilized. I'm not worried about Ezra right now. Not saying I'm not interested in seeing that total story come to a conclusion with him and Thrawn. But with the introduction of a lot of new characters in this season, while also continuing an existing tale from last season, I don't want it to meander too much. So that's my feeling on that. I would like it to stay as honed in as possible, but also exploring, with the Mandalorian involved, these locations that are familiar in new ways. So that's cool with me. Oh man, if there really is a Rebel sequel, I will explode. I know nothing about the truth to any of that stuff. Oh wow, I thought we had like 10 people in here, but we have like 64. I just looked at, I never look at anything but the chat. Like I just, whatever. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Wow, a lot of people chilling. This is the way. Guys, I'm just gonna say it. I think I'm just like so happy that something was this good after the last few years. It was good last year. It's good this year. Little let down by the final Star Wars film. But this revived me in a way that was very needed. The fact that I couldn't sleep the day before this was coming out, the fact I got up at 4 a.m. to watch it, I watched it twice. The fact that I watched pretty much everybody's video that did a review on it, like 30 videos, right? Well, people that I'm sub to that I know. I was just like, thank God. Like, and it's not that I hate anything that happened. It just made me feel squarely about a lot of things. A lot of things that maybe I shouldn't care about, but yeah. You know how it is in fandom. Oh yeah, the acid. So I know nothing about crate dragons and like their biology or whatever. I'm sure that there's like a ton of videos being made right now about like everything you need to know about a crate dragon, which I think will be cool because I want to know exactly how they operate, because that was disgusting that they were just projectile vomiting like acid and melting people. I think that's terrifying. Arguably more terrifying than being digested in a Sarlacc pit. Spotchka, nice. It's the other blue drink in Star Wars. Kato, imagine if that happened. Like, he just gets spit out of the mouth and he's like, here I am. Dude, I would have died. That would have been so funny to me. Thank God that didn't happen, actually. Like, oh, we were talking about funny things earlier. I can't remember if I mentioned that. I absolutely started laughing so hard when the Marshal was like, think about the school. So funny to me. It's just funny. Like, I think the show does comedy really well. That would have been so... I don't know why. Like, the image of Boba Fett coming out of the dragon's mouth is hilarious to me. If that's what somebody was saying. Kyber, you talking about old school Clone Wars or like the Clone Wars? Because the old school animation from Cartoon Network is like completely out of control good. It's so high intensity, and like, I'll be honest, the best version of Grievous is animated, and it's from the Cartoon Network. Imagine he just jumps out of the mouth and he's like, back from the dead, asshole, and just like just, I don't know, disintegrate somebody. Speaking of which, I keep forgetting to finish a video on disintegrations. I totally forgot I had a script on that. About why disintegrations are horrifying, because they are. Well, Oliver, yeah, so that's kind of why maybe I was a little bit up and down on it. Is this Boba? Because I put maybe it's Boba in my video, but I didn't say it was. I said I think it's Rex and Ahsoka's close by, maybe like lurking around. the reason I doubt it's just a random clone at this point, I think Star Wars needs to just like move on from clones, even though this is a clone, unaltered. But I think if this is just gonna work right, it just has to be Boba. And plus, the dude's face was really melted, or like scarred pretty heavily. Once I could actually clearly see it, so like he's turning around here in my stream, super low res image, but once I watched it in like real 4K, I was like, yeah, like this dude is melted. So the only like Easter egg that wasn't obvious was the reference to Gremlins when he's like, let me know if this thing divides or multiplies, or like that's what Pelimato said. Because there was like that whole debate, like the child is just Gizmo without hair, which is like kind of true. But when I was a child, truth be told, Gremlins horrified me to such a degree. When I was like 3 years old, I saw one of the movies. I didn't sleep for like a year. I was like, no, these little green goblins are gonna get me. Couldn't watch that movie till I was like 10. Poopy Boy. That should be my name. Sorry guys, TMI. Yeah, so that's why I wouldn't be Rex Commander Cody, exactly, because he'd be so old, right? He'd be like 100 years old, theoretically, physically, right? So it makes sense that it's Boba Fett because he's unaltered. Star Wars Galactic is back. Welcome back, man. Or lady, or whatever. Porg. Maybe you're a Porg. I don't know. Oh, nice. Yeah, dude, Star Force is great. Cyber Controller. I feel like I found him last year, maybe? And I was like, nice. Like this, I feel like I have 2 Star Wars Explains now, and like both equally awesome. Yeah, Shadow 19. That's exactly correct. Unaltered clone. I might have missed the first part of what you were talking about, Thomas, about the 1 episode thing. Well, he is a clone. So, yeah, so Oliver, he is a clone. He's just an unaltered one. I think what I mean is, like, they need to move on from clones. Is like, I think with, like, the last movie, like, The Rise of Skywalker, and Snoke was a clone, Palpatine was a clone, Rey's dad was a clone, who was a clone of a clone of a clone, and Rey's theoretically the clone-ish offspring. I think just relying on that narrative, or relying on that trope, I just don't want to roll my eyes again. That's kind of what I'm saying. But that's just me. You know? That's why I just want it to be Boba, not be just a clone of Boba or something. Kevin asks, when you first saw the episode, did I think the monster was the monster that ate Boba? No. So, fun fact, for anybody that doesn't know this, original favorite Star Wars movie of all time, because it was the first one I ever watched when I was 3 or 4, Return of the Jedi. And I can't watch the special edition at all because of what they did to the Sarlacc. The only time I've seen a Sarlacc pit look good was in Jedi Fallen Order, when they had the mouth and all that nonsense. But I just knew so much about Return of the Jedi from how often I watched it. I was like, yeah, that's where Boba died, the Sarlacc with the teeth, and they look so different. But when I saw the Krayt Dragon, I was just like, whoa, what the hell is this? I remember hearing about these in the Obi-Wan Kenobi book, the EU book. I believe that's like, isn't that like how like the first third of the book starts off with some big, I can't remember. There's like some huge issue with the Krayt Dragon, I thought. But yeah, I never thought that was what ate Boba. So, and I do think he will return. I do think the next episode will pick up right where the last one left off. Like, because the Mandalorian's not off Tatooine. So, yeah, Shadows 19. Oh man, I think my daughter just woke up. My wife's with her, but she's crying. Oh man. Oh well, it happens. Sometimes kids are cranky when they wake up. Yeah, Star Wars has been a part of my life for so long that I honestly don't remember a life without Star Wars. And what's funny is like I never even like before like YouTube and all that stuff, and even doing the channel, I just never I knew that people loved Star Wars. I didn't realize how loved Star Wars was. Oh, nice. Thanks, Rural. I need to finish that novel. But now that I'm like in this, like now that I'm doing the channel as much as I can, talking with people online, seeing other channels do their thing, and just absorbing all this new material, it's just so wild that, you know, I've been on this earth for 34 years. And Star Wars has been going on for longer than my life. And it's still just as strong as it was when I was born. That's insane. So, crazy. And honestly, it would have been so cool. I think it would have been so cool to be like a 5-year-old when the prequels came out. I was a little older, so like they looked different than what I liked, even though I liked the prequels. Like the Phantom Menace, like still feels like the most nostalgic great movie in my life, because of my age, because I was like 13 when it came out. And like I still think the CGI in the prequels are bananally bad, but it doesn't mean I don't like the movies. But that's something I want to touch upon. The prequel stuff happening in The Mandalorian, specifically the pod racing engine, I love that they're doing that. They're like bringing in prequel stuff, and yeah, Little Shop of Horrors. Darth Grumpbert. Yeah, that's exactly the most accurate description. But yeah. Well, my very first Star Wars movie in a theater was when they released the special editions. So I guess 1995, when A New Hope, or was it 1997? It was either 1995 or 97 when those all came out. So, Cyber Controller, if you're heading out, thanks so much for hanging out. May the Force be with you. And have a good Halloween, if you celebrate that. But yeah, so I guess 1997, first official theatrical experience. Saw each one of the special editions in theaters. Thought it was amazing. And now I don't at all. And then saw every single prequel in the theaters. Even Revenge of the Sith, when all my friends hated Star Wars and they're like just laughing as I'm watching it. And I'm just like, God damn it. I like it. You know, like people forget, like back in the day, if you talked about liking those movies, you were made fun of like people are now for liking the sequels. It was super bizarre. You know, for people that were alive in 77 who got to experience Star Wars in a universe before there was any Star Wars, I'm so jealous. 97, all right, thanks, Commander Cody. Yeah, so that was my real first Star Wars experience. But I wish I could get into the mindset, and I've done this with The Force Awakens in a way, but I wish I could get into the mindset of thinking of, wow, I've never seen A New Hope. I've never seen the original Star Wars. Like, from a fresh perspective, what is it about this movie that's amazing? Like, I wish I had that. I wish I could go back and just not know what Star Wars is and see it. I can't. And what I mean when I talk about The Force Awakens, the reason I kind of love The Force Awakens, and also, you know, I gave it like a 7.5 or whatever in my rating scale, because of its A New Hope-ness, is one of the reasons I do love it though, but gave it a low rating, is that it is almost just a complete modern day retelling of that original tale, and you almost could just watch The Force Awakens and that's it. It's just like an interesting, weird fantasy. And I remember watching The Force Awakens from that angle and being like, wow, you know, if this just like came out now, people would lose their mind still, regardless of what it was. Maybe it'd only make like 300 million or something. But it was such a weird way to look at it, because it's like an alt universe version. Like, what if this was the first one? But yeah. Don't be jealous of being old. Yeah, Darth. So Darth Grumpert. I'd say as I grew up, Empire became the one I would watch the most for a while, and then strangely after a while, Attack of the Clones became the one that I watched the most. Dude, yeah, isn't it crazy? The small budget that Star Wars was kind of gives it that charm, and now there's like so much money put into it to keep the charm. You know what I mean? Like things are so quality now that like they have to invent ways to make it look like the 70s. It's funny. Oh wow, Kyber Webbs with a super chat. That's a rarity. Thanks so much for the channel support, man. Or I can't tell. You have a Kylo Ren. So I think we're gonna be best friends. So my dream Star Wars show question. Mine, and you're saying yours would be a Clone Wars-esque show to expand on the sequels, maybe set between TFA and TLJ. Hell, if you said it after, Ben could return like Maul. Yeah, yeah, as long as it works. So my dream Star Wars show honestly would be Darth Plagueis. I keep saying I want a Sith-oriented live action something. I'm really into Sith lore, and I always read the old school Book of the Sith. I love just like opening up a page and just reading it. I love I can't stress enough how much I loved reading Plagueis. It was so good that I literally just read it again once I finished it on Audible, or so I listened to it. And then in regards to what you want, the Clone Wars S show, I would love that. There's so much about the sequel trilogy that unfortunately doesn't make sense to me because of the final film. That I need more information. Even though it was 2 hours and 22 minutes of new movie, I feel like less was understood. I feel like I understood less now because of the final movie. Whereas if I only look at TFA and TLJ, I feel the natural progression of events, that other people bitch about. But I don't know. Yeah, as long as if they do a show. Exegol, yeah, somebody said Exegol. I would love to know more about Exegol. What an amazing looking planet and that weird citadel. Simon Cross. It's not canon, but as we can tell, the TV shows are kind of being like, well, let's pick from this EU bit and this thing and that thing. And I mean, if Boba Fett's back, doesn't that mean that an EU storyline is being adapted? At least in some form, because that's a storyline, right? Like if they're going to adopt that he escaped the Sarlacc, I imagine they're familiar with that story. Yeah, Elijah, I'm with you. It's funny. Like I was saying to my wife, I was like, how come I love this movie and hate it at the same time? I was like literally just yelling at God. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I was like, this part's so awesome. And we were just watching the intro of Kylo Ren just through the forest. And I was like, it's so good. This is so badass. And then once we finally got like to the 22-minute mark and Kylo Ren's like, I'm going to turn you to the dark side. I was like, why did he say it? Like, I remember the scene out loud and just laughing. She was laughing and I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's just bizarre. So let me get back in the chat, some questions. Yeah, Jennifer. I feel like a lot of people feel that too. Maybe even JJ. I feel like a lot of us too were like, there's got to be a reason for it, right? Even I felt that for a while, but sometimes just things don't go well. It's just the way it is. Let me go back through the chat a little bit. I think I've missed a little bit. I just want to make sure I get to all of you guys. And again, thanks so much for that super chat. You guys have no idea how much that helps. Helps me like keep my gear going, because I had to buy a new mic a few weeks ago or a month ago. And that was a pain in the butt. Yeah, exactly, Elijah. It's loads of fun, but it's frustrating. So, well, Simon, I'd have to disagree. I still think the only great movie of the sequels is The Last Jedi. But I'm also not here to argue and explain why, because people love Tross and I don't. And I also don't want them to feel like they have to. So yeah, we all just like what we like, and that's that. But with The Mandalorian, it's just so funny. I retweeted something on Twitter saying, I think no matter what happened with the sequels, even if Jon Favreau made them, there would have been at least 25% of fans that have been like, you can't do that, this is bullshit, you can't say this, that never can happen, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. If you are the kind of person that really wants to adhere to like what has come before, I get it. It can be frustrating. It can be super frustrating for things that you already know about to be undone and then rebuilt. But I think that was going to be inevitable regardless, because there was so much possibilities with this franchise that I think regardless of who was steering the ship, if George was doing it, people would have been like, what the hell were those tiny little micro people in the people's blood? I literally feel like that would have happened. Like, and honestly, I feel like George Lucas has gone through enough Star Wars depression. That's all I'll say. He doesn't need to experience it anymore. But anyways, let me answer a couple final questions, because I actually got to get off of here in probably 10 minutes, because I'm going to do some family stuff, but safely, masks on. But we got to do some Halloween stuff today. But what origin story would I love to see, like in a Star Wars film? Hard to say, man. Way back in the day, I thought the book Phasma could have been an amazing film, like in the Star Wars universe, and it could have been like the first very different Star Wars film, because it takes place on a planet that's like desolate. It's almost like reminiscent of Arrakis, I guess, but with rocks versus just sand, from what I remember. And like their tribe of like warriors would be super cool, and the fact that there's like a little bit of the First Order interaction with them, but like learning Phasma's upbringing, like that was one of the things with the sequel trilogy that, like, while I loved her death and that final battle with Finn, there was so much intrigue in the Phasma book that I'm like, man, I need to know more. So that's the one I'd probably go with. Yeah. Well, anyways, I see people in chat probably talking about TLJ. Yeah, if you guys like Tross better than TLJ, that's fine. I'm not here to tell you who's right. I'd probably say the only movie besides The Force Awakens, the only new Star Wars movie that I genuinely left the theater elated at, like The Force Awakens was one. The TLJ, I didn't know what to think after I first saw it. Tross, I left depressed. But when I saw Solo, I left like, holy shit, that was crazy. Like, this was a ride. I feel like this is the perfect Star Wars movie. This was like the original, where you just sit down and watch and fun stuff happen. And I just left with such a grin. And it's such a shame that a lot of folks panned it, I guess. But I think it was pretty cool. Yeah, Parnassus, that's right. Or Parnassos. But yeah, don't ever feel worried about voicing your opinions on the movies you like or dislike. I hope most of my community wouldn't start fighting with each other. Everybody's always pretty civil. There are plenty of channels that thrive off of the never-ending debate over what's good or not. But I'm just bored of that. I'm sure a lot of people are too. There's enough sections of YouTube that can overanalyze whatever they please. At this point, I'm just looking forward to new stuff. So, Commander Cody, what did I think about the execution of Cobb Vanth? Well, let this be like the last of 3. I'll do 2 more questions after this, and then I do gotta bounce. I apologize, but we will be doing this every week too. Every week there will be a live stream for each episode. But yeah, I love Timothy Oliphant, and you know, besides the hilariousness of him wearing the armor, like, which is intentional, like, it's supposed to not look like it fits, I thought he was great. He was funny without being derpy, like, over the top. And I feel like he had the kind of swagger personality that I really dig in this kind of Western style thing. So yeah, I just really liked it. I hope he circles back somehow. Like, maybe Boba Fett's gonna go to Cobb and be like, maybe that's a thing that happens. I don't know. Oh wow, Kyber Webbs, super chat. Thanks so much. Just one more for you. Are there any headcanons or concepts that you hold on to because it maybe enhances the story for you in some way? I guess. Well, I guess because they never really explained Kylo Ren's true issues with his parents, but I keep Adam Driver's head canon as my canon, which is that his parents were too wrapped up in bringing the galaxy into the light anew with the New Republic, that ironically it led to the darkness growing inside of Ben out of accidental neglect. So that's like my headcanon, and I love that idea. I just wish if that was something that was told to Adam, and I feel like it was kind of told to him, at least from Rian Johnson and TLJ, because the TLJ book kind of explores that a little bit. I just wish that was more obvious. Like, we got a scene where Han drops off young Ben at Luke's academy, and while there is an embrace, there's also like young Ben looking at his father leaving on a ship, knowing he's just stuck there. He's just stuck there, right? And he doesn't want to be a Jedi. He just happens to use the Force. But because he's been a bad kid, quote unquote, now he's with Uncle Luke, away from his parents. So that being more cohesive would have gone a shitload of a way to make the sequels make some more sense. Yeah, the child, that's fine. It's cool. You don't have to like it. The good news is we got so much Star Wars that, like, it's crazy. Yeah, I like the dyad. The dyad was really neat. It's a canon conundrum, but I like the dyad idea. So let me look at one more question before I sign off here. Let's see. Is there another question? I think that might have been the last one. Somebody ask a question. then I'll leave. Just kidding. Build up, yo back. Let's see, do we have a question? I'm looking still. No, I think I answered everything. Well, guys, I guess that's that. We've been doing this for like an hour and 7 minutes, it looks like. I'm glad that everybody likes this episode as much as I did. Imagine if everybody hated it and I was like, yeah, this is amazing. And you were like, are you guys serious? Are you serious, dude? Oh, there we go. One final question by Joel Davis. Do I think Boba will be an ally or enemy of Din? I kind of want to just say pure enemy, but an enemy that gets not somebody that's gonna like obsessively follow Din, but more whatever happens between Boba and Din. I feel like it's gonna affect Din's way of looking at himself. I don't know what that means yet, but knowing that he's not like a Mandalorian by birthright, and neither is Boba Fett, and they both have armor, and a non-Mandalorian from birthright is going to be demanding the armor back, I think it's going to cause some issues. Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It looks like we got 51 people chilling. Thank you again for those super chats, Kyber. That was so generous of you. And this is the way. And goddamn, do I miss Kuiil. So I'll see you next week for another stream for next week's episode. I don't know if they released the title yet. Most likely going to stream on Saturday again or Sunday at the same time, because I will not have Friday off next week, which is why I got the video out yesterday. But there will be reviews, most likely Friday night, Saturday morning, and then a live stream. So I see you all then. Have a good Halloween tonight. This is The Way. R.I.P. Kuil, and be nice to each other, especially online. Let's be nice to each other. And, oh, that didn't work. Here we go. Now I'm ending my stream. Take care, guys. Oh, last minute super chat. Let me go back. Random question, but what's your favorite planet from each trilogy? Elijah Neal. For me, it's the prequels, Coruscant, Hoth. All right, here we go. Quick bonus round. Favorite planet, Coruscant from the prequels. From the original trilogy, I actually prefer Endor. And then from the sequels, I'd probably have to say... That's tough. I'd have to just say Exegol. And that's for a reason that I will bring up next time. That's maybe a good theory talk or theme talk. So, again, this is The Way. And the AT-AT must go celebrate Halloween. See you guys.